I was in a trench. The call came while I was knee-deep in mud, the stench of rust and damp earth pressed against my skin like a second layer. My rifle rested in the trench wall. I wasn't supposed to answer my phone out here, but the name on the screen made my stomach tighten. "Detective Harlow," I said. His voice was flat, almost too casual. "Your daughter is at the station." Something in the way he paused made my pulse sharpen. "Let's just say, you don't want to know what your wife's boyfriend did to her." The words lodged inside me like shrapnel. "The whole town is in shock," he added. Then his tone shifted, colder, quieter. "I'm going off duty. He's all yours." Click. Static silence. I stood there for a long moment, the rain cutting lines down my face. Somewhere above, gunfire cracked in the distance, but it sounded small, far away. One thought took root in my mind, heavy and immovable. Don't let him see the next morning. I didn't go straight to the station. I couldn't, not yet. If what Harlow implied was true, then I needed to walk in already knowing everything. Not just about tonight, about her, about the woman I married. The signs were there. They always are. Small absences, unexplained late nights, laughter that stopped when I entered the room. But I had been away, fighting someone else's war while another one grew, quietly, in my own home. When I returned from deployment last month, she kissed me like an obligation. Her eyes darted to the clock. Our daughter barely looked up from her phone. I didn't push. A soldier learns to wait. I told myself I'd rebuild things, that the distance was just distance. But the way she kept her phone face down, the way she smiled when it buzzed, it wasn't just in my head. And now a cop was telling me her boyfriend had put my daughter in a situation bad enough to land her at the station. Boyfriend. The word tasted like rust and ash. I started small. While she slept, I checked her phone. No passcode. She trusted me enough for that. Or maybe she thought I wouldn't look. The messages were mundane at first. Grocery lists, shared jokes. Then, the tone shifted. "I miss you already. Wish she wasn't home. When is he leaving again?" No name saved. Just a number. The voice messages were worse. The kind of breathless whispers people only use when they think no one else can hear. I traced the number to a man named Tyler Crane, 35, divorced, owned a bar outside of town, and from what I saw on social media, far too comfortable in photos with my wife. The next day, I called the bar, asked for Tyler, hung up when he answered. I wanted to hear his voice. That voice was the same one in the messages. I didn't confront her. I smiled when she cooked dinner, kissed her cheek when she passed me on the stairs. I tucked our daughter in, told her I loved her, and ignored the way she avoided my eyes. Because I needed more. I called in a favor from an old Army friend who now worked private security. Within days, I had bank statements, hotel receipts, a photo, her car parked outside his apartment, overnight. Still, I said nothing. The report came in while I sat in my truck, engine off, outside our house. It wasn't just an affair, it was months of it. And the night my daughter ended up at the station, she had gone to find her mother, only to walk in on them. Tyler tried to calm her down, but when the police wrote it up, their language was careful, too careful. The truth was clear in the gaps between the words. I printed everything, the photos, the messages, the report. Put them in a plain envelope. When I walked inside, she was on the couch, scrolling. I placed the envelope in front of her. "Read it." She did. Slowly at first, then faster. Her breathing hitched, her hands trembled. When she looked up, her mouth opened, but nothing came out. I just stared back. My voice was calm when I asked, "How long were you planning to keep lying?" I didn't shout. I didn't break anything. I told her I'd already spoken to a lawyer, that custody wouldn't be a problem after what Tyler did, that she'd be leaving tonight. Her eyes widened, a color draining from her face. "You can't just—" "I can," I said, my tone as flat as the trench walls I'd stood in earlier. I told her Tyler wouldn't see the morning as a free man, that the detective was waiting for my call, that the charges would stick. She tried to cry, tried to reach for me. I stepped back. "You don't touch me again," I said quietly. I gave her 20 minutes to pack. I didn't watch her go. I was already dialing Harlow. When I told him where to find Tyler, there was no hesitation in his voice, just a simple, "understood." The house was silent. My daughter slept upstairs, exhausted. I sat in the kitchen, staring at my hands. They weren't shaking, not anymore. I realized then that the war I'd been fighting overseas had been easier, cleaner. You knew who the enemy was. You saw them in your scope, and you pulled the trigger. Here, the enemy had been beside me in bed, smiling, pretending. I felt no grief, no loss, just a strange, cold clarity. Some wounds don't bleed. They calcify. They turn into armor, and armor makes you impossible to wound again. I looked at the clock. It was just past midnight. Somewhere across town, Tyler Crane was being pulled from his bed, and my wife, no, ex-wife, was realizing she'd traded a husband for a ghost, the kind that never forgives.